Hey everybody, very, very happy Friday afternoon to you. For those members of the Academy of Thinking into Results, I hope you're all well. As promised, I told you I would be here today to do a little bit of an extra lesson. Normally all of my facilitations are done from Monday to Thursday, but today, of course, I decided I'd come in and conclude a great lesson we did this week. So for other people who are joining me today, I'm streaming this video into YouTube and also onto other Facebook pages that I'm the boss of. I'm watching The Godfather back again at the moment, so everything I'm doing is, I feel like I'm the godfather of those pages. So yeah, Don Corleone. If you haven't watched those, they're great. You know, obviously violent movies, they're a bit violent, but the cinematography, the acting, oh my God, amazing stuff. Anyway, today let's get into this lesson. So in the program that I teach, or in one of the programs that we use, actually, here it is. We use, of course, Thinking into Results. This is an old DVD version of it. Everyone now, we do it digitally. But in this DVD version, I just hold it up so I can show you the program, Think and Grow Rich. So Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher run the company, the Proctor Gallagher Institute. And Bob Proctor has been studying personal development, especially in a very kind of a classical way, with thoughts become things as the main driving type of material that he teaches. And Sandy Gallagher is Bob's business partner and has helped him absolutely quantum leap his position in personal development around the world. And they just keep going from strength to strength. Great company. He's a real gentleman, a very nice guy. But Bob has got a very unique place in personal development because there's two powerhouses of books. One is called Think and Grow Rich. It's there somewhere. And the other one is called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And in the mid-noughties, 2008, around that time, 2006, 2007, around that time, this movie burst onto the scene. It was called The Secret. And everybody was like, my mother-in-law had a bookshop at the time in Newcastle West, and people were coming in and they like had their collars up and, have you got a book called The Secret? You know, and some people were like really out there. Oh, I love law of attraction. I love law of vibration. Yeah, of course. Others then are a little bit more, do you have that book? You know? So Rhonda Byrne just created this movie called The Secret, and it was talking about all these heads of industries, heads of personal development, all these amazing speakers, and it's available for free on Netflix if you want to have something to watch tonight. I recommend you watch it. But literally Rhonda Byrne was down and out. I think she moved back in with her grandparents, and she was rummaging around in the attic, and she found a little book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, and started reading it. And she just felt like a lot of my clients do, like I did at one point as well, that you're just reading something that seems familiar to you. It seems very true and very real and very exciting. And that book, Science of Getting Rich, I recommend you buy it right now on Amazon and get it. I also recommend you buy Think and Grow Rich, unbelievable book. But a lot of people have, who like personal development, they have kind of setups like this where they have a lot of books that they've read sitting on a shelf. And it was interesting, and I learned something from that. And that was good, and I enjoyed that. But it's for the time that you've read it. Like I read a book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I read it in my honeymoon in 2008. I haven't read it since. There's other books up there, Miracles and Other Realities, all different sorts of books. I've read them once, but they haven't really made a big impact on me. But I have a cluster of about 12 books, U Squared, The Science of Getting Rich, As a Man Thinketh, these type of books that I will just, if I'm having a coffee, I'll walk into my shelf here, grab it, and I'll open any page and I'll read. Because what it does is, it's like we can put our head in a vice and crush it in, or we can read and we can absolutely expand. And when you read and study something you studied before and kind of ask yourself, what's that message for me today? What do I need to get from that? That's what you'll hear me and my clients referring to, myself, my team, and my clients referring to as study. I see a wonderful gentleman there by the name of Brian and some other people in commenting on this page. These people, like Philip, who got a message off him earlier on as well, you guys are getting excited. They're like, oh my God, I'm writing stuff I haven't written before, and it was heavy for a few days, but now it's like, it's flowing, and all of what they want was always in them. But when they enroll with us in our academy, or when they hire me as a coach and they start working, we start really getting very, very clear on one thing. Get a goal that you love, that you really, really want to be going after. Like, my goal is not Brian's goal. Philip's goal is not Brian's goal. Brian's goal is not Philip's goal. Dushan and Yelena, who work with me, my goal and their goals are slightly connected because we work together and we're working with the same material, with the same program, with the same group of clients, but their goal is their goal, my goal is mine. So everybody really you want to be going after something you've never done before, something that if you achieve it, or even if you fell 50% short, it would make for like a generational change that everybody would say, wow, I saw what you did, it's amazing. Now, I started doing this 5 years ago, and I've never looked back, and I never will look back. I was very cautious about growing my business in Ireland. I used to have most of my Facebook advertising in England, and overseas I had clients in Haiti, in New Zealand, in Norway, in France, and all these different places, because I think I was a little bit afraid of a healthy level of that beautiful skepticism that we have here in Ireland, that lovely wit and humor and comedy. And, you know, when I started out first advertising here, I used to get slated, you know, but I don't really care anymore, because I don't care what people think about me. I don't care what they think about this material, because I'm not going to get up someday and switch lives with them. They can hold on to what they believe to be true. I'm never going to stop helping people to say, yeah, do you know what? I want this. I'm going like, but Declan, how do I do it? Forget the how. Write down what you want and just stay at that lesson for a week, even 2 weeks. Just stay at it, and you'll get the answers you need. I'll help you, but you'll get the answers, and they'll get like a weighing scales, or one of those scales that we see in the olden days, not an electronic weighing scales. You know, the scales like you have in the over the courts. You know, those scales on the chain. They will get a huge amount of, wow, I can do this. Jesus, this belief will rise up inside of them. But also on the other side of the scales will come doubt, fear, worry, irritability, procrastination, because our physical body and all of our memories are stored up and locked up in our cells. And they're going to say, nah, sorry, you're not changing, buddy. No, sorry, that's nice. That was a lovely personal development book. That was a great movie, The Secret, but get back in your box now, fairly lively. And that's what happens all the time. I work with somebody who, from the 1st to the 4th of March, they made more money than they'd ever made in a month before in their working lives. They made more money in the first 4 days of March than they'd ever made in a month before, in that period of time. And their cage has been rattled since. They've felt since. So that's what seems to happen. That's why there's a place for what we do in our academy. And I'm really going live here now, predominantly with my beautiful clients. But I've welcomed a lot of you on board today. I've added an extra lesson. And lesson 5 of what we teach in that program, Thinking into Results. Lesson 5 is called Thinking into Results, actually. And it's where we bring our clients face to face with 6 faculties of the human mind that an awful lot of people never really pay attention to. Imagination, intuition, reason, will, perception, and memory. On Monday, I covered perception, reason, and memory. In fact, last week, I probably did a whole week on reason, because reason, when you learn how to use that word, is you learn how to block SH1T that you don't want getting into your mind, to block it off completely and allow in what you do want. That's never going to work. Why would you put that there? No, that's okay. That's going to be okay. It's going to work. You learn to really focus your reasoning factor and stop taking negative suggestions. And sometimes we all know that negative suggestions can come from even the people that we love the most in the world. They can be our biggest critics sometimes, our biggest balls and chains, and they don't mean it. They're doing it generally, mostly from a place of love, a place of genuine concern. But also there's a certain level of, if they change, like Denise is here. Let's say Denise had a twin sister and she was like, don't be doing that. That's silly. What are you doing that for? There's a certain amount of love and care for her sister, but there's also a little bit of, if she changes and betters herself, I'm staying where I am. And that's uncomfortable. So they don't even know why they criticize, and they don't even know why they say no, but they do. Okay, and that's just the way it is. So we worked on reason, perception, and memory on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I tore into a wonderful, actually no, Tuesday we had a call with Bob Proctor, so we didn't do a whole lot on Tuesday on this particular chapter. On Wednesday, we covered one of my favorite subjects in personal development, which is the human imagination. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one, right, John Lennon? But yeah, I spend all my time imagining the best scenario. In the 99% proof that something's not going to go my way, I'm imagining it going my way. And that's where a lot of my clients, and that's where my team, and it's where my family will go, God, that's gas. No, because normally it would, like 99 times out of 100, it would work the other way. Well, if there's always the potential for the one way, then that's all I focus on. The one way I want it to be. If it happens, I'm ecstatic. If it doesn't happen, I learn from it. There's no way that has been healthier for my physical health, for my financial health, for my relationship with my wife, and my time with my children, my contribution to the world, as it has been since I really started studying me, my potential, from the great wisdom that is locked up in all of those books there, waiting to be used, waiting to be applied all of the time. So the imagination is an example of that. I imagined my house. I didn't have a mortgage. I imagined it. I imagined it. I imagined it. And then all of a sudden, the ways to expand my business started being given to me, and showing how I could take multiple sources of income from my acupuncture clinic that I had at the time, get the money, show the bank, look at me now, come on, approve, please, give it to me, you know. And I made them an offer they couldn't refuse. So yeah, I got the money, built the house, big deal. It doesn't sound like a big drama, but the starting point from where I was going from, and I could have capped myself off at, yeah, I'll just buy that house or I'll buy this one. No, I wanted to go for a really kind of nice, big, nice one with done by an architect and certain heating systems and, you know, passive. So it doesn't sound like a big deal, you know. Irishman gets mortgage, builds house, big deal. But where I was starting from, it was a big deal. I share that more on a personal level with my clients in the academy. They know a lot more of the gory details. But I do that to show them that, you know, they are going to have doubts and fears and worries, and they don't need to have proof. I had no proof of ever doing anything like this before. But it built such resilience in me and such belief that now these are all my gold cards from, some of them went through the washing machine, but these are all the gold cards from when I started studying this material back in 2013 and really studying it in a big way in 2015 with investing in programs and stuff. All those goals have come true at various different times, maybe not right on time, but they've all come true. And the goals that I used to write, I look back and go, ah, wasn't he cute? Wasn't that a nice little goal he was going for? But that was an enormous, sickening goal for me 5 years ago. Now the goals that I'm going for, I don't bat an eyelid when I talk to my assistant Laura. She works with me 2 years now. And when I start talking about what we're going to do this month or next month, she sometimes goes, isn't it hilarious what we're talking about? And I go, yeah. It's just that growth, and it happens, and that's how it works, okay? So anyway, that's the imagination. That's what has given me a lot of my success, has been using my imagination for me, not against me. If you use it against you, it's going to turn into fear and you're going to be worried about the future. But if you use the imagination for you, it will pull ideas out of the sky. That's why we always have these light bulbs in animation. The light bulb is hanging over our heads. It's like we pluck the idea out of the sky. So that's imagination. We did that on Wednesday. Now, yesterday was Thursday, and we did a very important one around intuition as well. Some people think they have a good intuition, women's intuition, all that sort of stuff. We have different levels of ability of sight. So when we get older, we get glasses. We have different levels of height. So I'm not 6'1", not 6 foot, just about 6.5. And I can reach for certain things, but my friend Dusan is 6'11". He can reach further. My wife then is 4'1". No, she's not. Well, I'm not sure what height my wife is, but I don't think she can hear me. But if she did, I'd know about it. But anyway, she can reach for certain things. So we all have different levels of height. We all have different levels of lots of different things, different ages, different, whether we freckles, whether we wrinkles. We all look a little bit different, but we all have an unlimited ability to use our imagination and our intuition together. I believe, from my study of this material and my own personal experience, the greater that if I had a tuning fork here and I went, boo, hit it off the wall, it would do something, right? If I hit it off a really hard metal object, it would make a stronger noise. It vibrates on a higher frequency. You know, you hit it, it'll make a louder noise. You get a bigger tuning fork and you hit that, it makes a bigger noise. Those vibrations seem to go out of your body and seem to resonate out from you and radiate out from you at a higher frequency the more you use it. So I started using my imagination in a greater way because I would see people that I admired doing it. I would see them get results that were extraordinary. I said, I want some of that. And there are no shortcuts. You have to really study and imagine and write out what you want and think about it all the time. Now, there is something that we need if we're going to develop our imagination and our intuition. You know, let's say if I have a field out the front here, and you know, let's say I put a load of hay bales on one side and we all went to the other side and we had bows and arrows, archery, right? You're not going to be able to take that arrow and fire it right into the bullseye every time unless you practice. And what else do you need? You need a bow, you need strings on the bow, you need arrows, you need weather conditions, you need a lot of contributing factors, but you need time and you need practice. You need to aim and you need to be focused on one thing and one thing only. And one of the most, I would say, wasted things that's ever been in humanity is will. And that's what we're covering today. There's approximately a 15-minute introduction to get to the point. We're going to cover something today that is like, there's no point in putting, let's say, a collage together and then forgetting to bring the glue. There's no point in setting up all of those hay bales, waiting for the perfect conditions, getting all of our bows ready and standing there, and everyone's like, right, who's got the arrows? Oh, flip. Oh, come on. Okay, let's, if you don't have the will, you're wasting your time with an awful lot of things that you're doing, because what you're going to be using then is brawn and willpower. And there's a massive difference between the will and willpower. And that's what we're going to dig into today. The human faculty of the mind, which is the will. Bob Proctor talked about for years, and I thought it was just a casual story, but I was thinking about the will so much for the last 24 hours so that I could give my best to my clients today on the subject. Everywhere I went, every time I was making, we had lovely prawn stir fry last night with a homemade satay sauce on the side. Oh man, it was gorgeous. Every time I was doing everything, chopping the onions, the garlic, mixing everything I was mixing, everything I was doing, I was studying the will. Today I had a nice little shave in the shower, phone was in the bathroom, turned onto a Bluetooth speaker, listening to Bob Proctor teaching on the will. The will reminded me, I gave a 9-minute message to one of my team today, kind of cracking the whip a little bit because his paradigm was being an asshole. And I wanted to say, get out of here. This guy needs to hear the will. I have had good times and bad times over the last 5 years, but inside, right in the middle of my mind, has been the will to succeed in the vision that I've had. Because I know that the ideas that I'm given are not going to be given to me without the way, without the money, without the people. Everyone's going to come into my life right on time. And if you're a person, if you're a very religious person and you want your prayers to be answered, God's not going to do it for you. You've got to do it for yourself. And one of the best ways, he is going to do it for you, but it's a co-creation. One of the ways you've got to help your prayers to become reality is you've got to hold the will. Because a lot of people say they believe and a lot of people say they have faith, but it's a very much a blind faith and it's a very loose faith. And they're very, very quick to worry and doubt and pray and pray and pray and beg. But when you get an idea in your mind and you pray for it and you want it, you are responsible for holding that image deep inside of you when everyone else around you is doubting it. And when you are even physically nauseous, awake at night worrying about it, you've got to hold true to yourself deep inside. And that is a will. I have a very highly developed will because the goal that I wanted to build this house for my wife and kids and myself, to work from here, to close down my clinic and 100% work in personal development, that was the will. Now I have a will to succeed on a greater level, to do other things. I have a goal for my birthday in 2025. And I know that when those are achieved, and they will be, it's going to benefit a hell of a lot of people along the way. For me to succeed in that, the only thing I got to do is keep helping and helping and helping my present clients, my future clients, my present team, my family, my community. The more I do that, and I have the will to do it. I've never been healthier. I've never had better sleep. I've never had more energy. I've never made as good choices health-wise. I've never had as best relationships with friends and family. Okay, so this is what I want to teach every one of you today, guys. That's why I added the bonus session for everybody in the academy. You've got to have a highly developed will. For all of those C-type goals you've emailed me, for them to become real, you've got to have the will. Okay, so let's get into what the will is. Not willpower. The will is just holding it right in their heart, even when your physical body is doubting it. Your mind, your connection with the ether is like, this is happening. I am welded to it. There is nothing going to prise my fingers away from my goal. I sent a book to someone a couple of days ago and I wrote on the inside cover, never take your eyes off your goal. Ever, 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 no matter what happened. Pandemic happened this year and I took my eyes off my goal for about a half an hour. I went to the playground when Ireland was going into lockdown and I walked around and I was punch drunk. I had a good old Mike Tyson shot in the jaw and that was about it. About a half an hour walking around Krakow Park in Valencia Island and I was back and I was like, no, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And that's misconstrued and misunderstood. That doesn't mean where there's a will, there's a way and you got to work your ass off and push boulders up a hill. The will is holding the image of what you want, knowing that it'll be given to you regardless of pandemics, regardless of corrupt banking systems that crashed our country and, aided and abetted by corruption. Regardless of what's going on, your will to hold what you want in your life, that is what you want. Okay, so let me give you an example. There's no point in just hearing from me. I'm going to read out something that somebody is posting here. I think it's Tara, based on the yeah, it is. Okay, I'll never go back. Oh, Tara, yes. So I'll never go back from this material. I've been ill the last few days. I feel it's detoxing from eating a raw sugar-free diet. Usually I would feel all sorry for myself and use it as an excuse to go and eat ice cream and other rubbish. But I chose to get up early to read and study and eat a healthy breakfast. And it comes so easily and effortlessly now. It's just like being my new way of thinking and being, and I don't question it now. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to put your first sentence at the end of that as well, Tara. I'll never go back from this material. And that's the truth of it. I'll never go back. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. They can mock me. They can really, I just don't care, because I won't swap with them. I won't swap with them. I could lose it all tomorrow morning. June can finally come to her senses and run off with some other man and kick me out of the house. Fine, I'll go back to ground zero and start all over again. But that's not going to happen, because we really are a good couple. We like each other a lot. Okay, but that's it. That's the way. Once you get this material into your hands, you will not let any rubbish get in. You don't eat rubbish off the street. So don't let rubbish thoughts go into your mind, okay? Because it's just going to go back out and attract more rubbish results. If you don't want rubbish results, get this working for you very, very well. Okay, so I'm going to read this chapter and kind of break out into some of my thoughts about it. I rarely write in books. When I do, it really is a big one. And on the second page of this chapter, I have highlighted a passage that I read to a wonderful man called Noel last week. I read it sometimes to some people because they need to hear what's in these words. And I'll read this to you soon. It's one of my favorite pieces of personal development. It's incredible. Okay, so the book is called The Science of Getting Rich, and it's about being rich in happiness, health, wealth, relationships, everything, okay? People go, oh, the minute you say rich, there's like, oh, money, it's all about money. Well, did you ever say that the sauce is very rich? There's no money in the sauce, okay? There's a richness it's a beautiful word. So how to use your will to get rich in every way? Listen up. To set about getting rich, you do not try to apply your willpower to anything outside of yourself. You've got no right to do so. It's wrong to apply your will to other people and women to other men and women in order to get them to do what you want to get done. So if I want to get my results, I use the will on myself. I'm so happy and grateful now that my company is earning this amount of money per month. I'm so happy and grateful that that I've welcomed this many clients in, and these are the type of people they are. They're successful and they just want to get to the next level. They want to discover their absolute potential. So all I got to do is think about that. I don't have to think about my team and force them to make that happen. It's their duty to focus on their own will. But as long as I keep my will, I'm so happy and grateful that this is happening, then I'll see it manifest in my life. If it's one of them, if it's 4 of them, if it's 10 of them, it doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with me, and I will never coerce them and think about them and try and, you can't do it. And I'll tell you why. It's all I do, and all I try to do is help them to be the happiest, help them to provide the best environment that I can. Same with my clients. I can't force them to do the study. I can't force them to have the difficult conversations with their loved ones that they might need to have to make a change in their life. I can't force them to do Facebook advertising or to close a sale in their business. But all I can do is help them to get the best out of themselves every minute of every day with whatever they're doing. So you have got no right to use the will, to use thought energy against other people, willing them to change. It is wrong to apply your will to other people in order to get them to do what you want done. It is as flagrantly wrong to coerce people by mental power as it is to coerce anyone by physical power. If compelling people by physical force to do the things for you reduces them to slavery, then compelling them by mental means also accomplishes the exact same thing. The only difference is the method. If taking things from people by physical force is robbery, then taking things by mental force is also robbery. And in principle, there is absolutely no difference. And I know that too. The little chin was wobbling one time. I was asked to go on stage. I did very, very, very well in December 2018, January 2019, and February 2019. And I was up on stage. There was 2 really amazing women to my left and 2 others to my right. And the 5 of us had really gone to an extremely high level in the Proctor Gallagher Institute, in a global consultancy of my own making, but with Bob as my guide along the way. And everybody wanted to like rub your shoulder, like get some luck off of you. You know, it's how I got this. It's a little silver pen of recognition for achievement. Okay, I stood up on the stage, and I was really broke when I was ringing up these coaches and saying, I need your help. I believe what you're teaching, but I don't have any money. But I can you help me? For 18 months, different people had listened to me and stayed there with me. I was at the clothesline yesterday hanging up clothes, and an absolutely beautiful person. If you know her from our group, you know who I'm talking about, Yelena. I could hear tears in her eyes. She spoke with a lady. So I put an ad on Facebook. A lady watched the ad, looked at the ad, watched my webinar, contacted Yelena, and she spoke to her. And she spoke to her about her life. And she said, I hope this woman works with us, Declan, but I'm just so grateful for that conversation. And I'm going to help this woman, whether she works with us or not. I'm going to help her as much as I can. Like, we found her and she found us because we're sending out a vibration. We're so happy and grateful to help people, to do what we can to help them to stop thinking a negative way that's holding them back and to unleash their thoughts out into the world for good, for better creation of a better life. So if for 1 second we were thinking, I want to make money, I want to make money, that woman would not have contacted us. Anybody who's working with us right now in the academy, not one iota of our journey with them has been about us and our goals and dreams. We think about our goals and dreams, and people come in and they start working with us and they make an investment, and that goes into our lives and it goes out into other avenues. But there is a constant flow that you cannot block up. And one surefire way of blocking it up is using mental will in a kind of a zigzag way. You got to keep it going straight, and you got to keep it honest, and you got to keep it flowing, because there's a law of cause and effect. And it's happening just like dropping my AirPods case here, dropping a pen. Regardless of how heavy something is, if it's heavier than air, a law of gravity pulls it towards the center of the earth. Well, there's a law of cause and effect. And if you have an effect in your life of poor results that you're not happy with, the causative factor behind that is 95% mindset and 5% strategy, advertising, timing, need for what you do. And an awful lot of it is, how are you feeling about it? What are you sending out? Okay. So you've got no right to use your willpower upon another person, even if you feel it's for their own good, because you actually don't know if it's for their own good. I've been there. I really wanted something for somebody so bad, and it wasn't their time. And that's it. And I regularly hear that back from the guys. It's like, hey, Declan, just want to let you know, I was speaking with a person today, Johnny, what's that thing they use in John Doe? I was speaking to John Doe today. He's an ideal client. I'd love him to do it. I don't think it's the right time for him. So I'm going to follow up with him in a couple of weeks, and we're just going to let him watch our group for a few months, and he might do something then. But that's it. There's sometimes we really need to help people to get over the line. But that's coming from a place of, look, I want to help you. I'm just going to hold up a mirror and be honest with you. I really feel this is going to help you. I think you know it too. Let's begin. Let's go and do something. And that's different. That's really using our service and our skills to help people to do what they want to do. But never, you can't do it with the wrong energy, because it will sting you in some other way. It just will. That's the way it is. So you've no right to use your power upon other people, even if you feel it's for their own good, because you don't know what's for their good. You don't know what's planned out for them. The science of getting rich does not require you to apply power or force to any other person in any other way whatsoever. There is not the slightest necessity for doing so. Indeed, any attempt to use your will upon other people will only tend to defeat your true purpose. Guaranteed. You do not need to apply your will to things for those things to come to you. That would simply be trying to coerce God, and would be foolish and useless, as well as very irreverent. You're not being very irreverent. You're being a kind of a nag. Come on. I want the new car. I want the new car. I want the new car. Okay, you're nagging. You're not saying thank you for the car that I already have. That's the way to do it. So you don't have to compel God to give you good things any more than you have to use your willpower to make the sun rise or the tide go in and go out. You do not have to use your willpower to conquer an unfriendly deity or make stubborn and rebellious forces to do your bidding. The thinking substance is very friendly to you. So people talk about the law of attraction and things like that, and I love it, I believe it, I know all this stuff, Declan. I hear that a lot, actually. Well, knowledge is power, but knowledge is only potential power. Knowing stuff is good, but stuff that you've learned and you're living it is the real juicy stuff. So when you know what to think and do, you must use your will, and that's what this whole lesson is about. You must use your will to compel yourself to think and do the right things. Okay, so I wanted results that I'm getting now 3 years ago. They were my goals 3 years ago. They're now a standard practice in my life. I'm the same Declan, but I lacked real belief, real faith, real will back then. I needed to get some crap out of my life. I needed to unlearn things. I needed to get some bad habits out of my life so that I could be in this type of a confident, energetic vibration. You know, you can't go into, what would you say, go into a dress shop and expect to buy a power washer. You know, you're going to go to a hardware store or some sort of an electrical appliance store to get your power washer. You don't go into a drapery shop or a boutique. Okay. Now, where I live in Southwest Kerry, you know what? You could go into anywhere and you'll say, any chance you've got it? Yeah, actually, we do have one of them out the back. That can happen too. Good old rural living is great. You know, we know that. But no, just let's get serious here. In the same way, you can't pour oil into your cup of tea and expect it to turn milky. It's just not going to happen. So when you know what to think, I knew what to think back then and I knew what to do, but I didn't use the will correctly to compel myself to only think about what I wanted. I let my old experiences and my old memories and the pandemic or the economic crash, or I'm only living in a small house, or who would sign up with me? Yeah, but you're building a beautiful big house. Or, you know, all of these, my old ways of fear, my old fears, my old thoughts, they were rattling me. People would come to my live seminars and they would say, I heard what you said for the last 2 hours, and I've never heard anyone say, like, I want to work with you. And I'd say, okay, what do you do? And they'd be telling me, and I'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ, wow, they're very successful. Who am I? I'm only a fella from Southwest Kerry. But like, that was my old paradigm. But they believed in me enough after listening for 2 hours. They had enough proof. And they were sold on my experience, and I know you can help me, Declan. Like, and I was like, this guy's got 100 employees. I know him. He's a millionaire, and he wants me to teach him. But that's okay. Like Roger Federer's coach never won a major, and helped him to be one of the most successful tennis players of all time. So I knew what to think and I knew what to do, but I didn't develop my will strong enough 3 years ago. I now have it developed to an unbelievable strength, okay? And I'm excited about where it's going to take me. So I want you, like, I like to use imagery and I like to use examples. I like to think of right in the center, from the middle of your forehead to the back of your head, right in the center there, and from the top to the bottom, right in the center of my head, my physical head, I feel that there's like a command center in there, like a real strong nut that you can't crack with a nutcracker, like a really strong thing. And in there is the will. And, you know, I heard a really cool story a couple of weeks ago, and I actually found myself saying it a lot yesterday on calls I was on. Just, I'm watching too much of Andy Garcia there on the as the buttons are way down, is looking like Andy Garcia there on the Godfather, flashing a bit of skin. But I heard a kind of a fable or a story the other day, and it was about all these gods, right? Back in ancient books, you know, the god of Norse god of war, thunder is Thor, isn't that right? And the Ulysses, is that the god of the sea, or Neptune, the god of the sea? Anyway, all the gods had a meeting, and they were like, okay, we're after creating mankind now, and we can't teach him the secrets of the gods, because then there'll be gods like us. We can't do that. So we got to keep it just for ourselves. Like, you know, we can't be doing that. We can't be giving the humans godlike powers. But we have to send them down with them, but we have to hide them somewhere. So the littlest god was like always like the laughing stock. I don't know what it was the god of, but they wouldn't give any attention. It was like the little pipsqueak, you know, excuse me. So the big gods were like, we'll put it on the top of the highest mountains on earth. And they're like, no, because they're going to learn how to climb, and they're going to learn how to, you know, get really good clothing and oxygen masks to get there. So they'll conquer the mountains, you know, so yeah, don't put it there. Okay, we will put it in the deepest seas. And they're like, no, we're pretty sure they're going to figure out metal and nautical systems and pressurized gas. And they're going to figure out submarines and stuff. And they're going to find the secrets in the bottom of the earth as well. Okay. Let's bury it deep in the deepest earth. Nah, you see there again, they're going to get drilling machines. They're going to be able to drill right through every single crust of the earth we've created. So can't bury it. And then the littlest one was like, excuse me, you know, and eventually they're like, okay, what's your story? And he goes, you need to put the secrets of, like, godlike secrets in one place that mankind will never think to look. Put it deep inside of themselves. They'll never think to look there. And I remember I was listening to that. I was like probably preparing food, or I was like, oh, that's so good. And there was nobody around to talk to. And I was like, oh, that's one of the best things I've ever heard. And it's bloody true. I feel the will was always there. The energy was always there. The imagination was always there. The confidence was always there. But it was very, very surface deep. I know like some of my friends are in my Facebook groups and they kind of watching a little bit, and they're probably like, yeah, but Deck, you were in school and you were in a band and you were on plays and you were always very confident, kind of a bit of a show off, you know, but that was very, very skin deep. I really lacked confidence inside. If you plugged a radio in with a speaker and you heard what the inner dialogue was going on when I was in secondary school or even in college, I have a wonderful friend of mine, Alice, is here with me in the academy. You know, she probably thought, yeah, sure, Deck, you know, I was a couple of years older than all the guys and, you know, I was a bit of a mature student and all that, but I was really lacking a lot of self-confidence. I really had a horrible inner critic and horrible inner dialogue going on. But that inner dialogue was just damming down and masking a massive amount of potential that this reading and this writing and acting on my goals and challenging my limiting beliefs has unleashed from me and brought out of me. And it's changed inside first. And yes, the physical world around me has changed an awful lot, thanks be to God, you know. So the will, I have a highly developed will. But my mentor and coach, Bob Proctor, who's been doing this for 60 years, would say that he is only scratching the surface, and I know I am too. So that's a very exciting prospect, okay? So it's all well and good that you study the material and you say to me or one of my team, yeah, look, I know a lot of this, like, and I've watched Secret and I've read Think and Grow Rich, I know it. Okay, grand. Look at your results. And I mean that in the kindest way, because I've given you my feet, I've told you my story. I lacked the confidence too. When you know what to think, and that's what those books teach and the movies teach. And when you know what you must do, and everyone knows what they must do, like everyone knows, eat lots of greens, eat less meat, push yourself away from the table, have smaller portions, drink more water, don't drink so much coffee, don't drink so much alcohol. We all know what we should do. But when you know what to think and know what to do, it's the will, and you've got to compel yourself. That's why I said earlier on, you know, people say, God will help me. Like, God will, you know, what is it? God loves a trier. Well, God loves somebody that really uses the will upon themselves, because you have everything you want. Every nutrition plan is out there for free. Every move that you use, very expensive gym equipment out there, it's there for free. You got calisthenics where you just use your own body and your body weight to sculpt this gorgeous body, and people are using powders and shakes and lifts and all these different things and electronic machines that Ronaldo's abs are like fantastic, right? In fairness to the lad. But he's got this machine that he's like, yeah, I sit in my house every day with an electronic machine that's like nothing to do with the best coaches, Ronaldo, no, like nothing to do with that lovely tan that they put on and all of the abs just for that photograph, really, maybe, tiny bit. So it's the will to, you got to have the will. If you want to have a body like that, you have to have the will. If you want to have more money in your bank account, you can have all of the strategies. A lot of people, you know, grab me, Declan, can I talk to you when I'm in Toronto with some of my colleagues? Can I talk to you for a second? You know, because I'm approachable, I suppose, and a friendly kind of a person. Yeah. Do you use PayPal or Stripe? And I say, okay. And any other questions? Do you use LinkedIn or Facebook to get your clients? Okay. Any other questions? You know, do you? And they're always asking, where's the knick-knack? Where's the shortcut? Where's the silver bullet? Where no one's asking me, Declan, what is the mindset that you have had to get to where you've gotten to? I hear you live in a small community in the west of Ireland, the southwest of Ireland. I go, where do you live? Yeah, I live here in Toronto. 8 million people. Where do you live? I live in London. Millions of people. Where do you live? I live in Johannesburg. Millions of people. Where do you live? I live in Sydney. Millions of people. So you don't need PayPal. You don't need Stripe. You don't need LinkedIn. You don't need hotel seminars. You need the will to achieve. And I'd say that to every client. I love your goal. All I want you to do, you know, sometimes I'll tell people, take a few days off, because if you're trying so hard, you're not using the will, you're using willpower and brawn and frown lines and stress, okay? One of our clients, Avril, her son was like, is he talking again? Is that a live call? Does he talk like for an hour a day? I was actually feeling sick on Tuesday night, couldn't stomach food or whatever. And I got on a call at 7 with Bob Proctor, and it went from 7 to 8. And we normally have a call from 7 to half 8. And then I went live and I told the guys, my wife said, go to bed, cancel the call. I was like, I'm not canceling the call. When I have a will to help all the clients I'm working with, I will generally never, ever, ever miss a meeting. I don't think, like Denise, you're with us one of the long, like, have I ever canceled a meeting? I don't think I have. I do 4 calls a week. And if I'm in the car, I'll do it in the car. I had a dentist appointment one day and I came in, I was like, I'm very sorry. I thought that I would be back to normal, but I'm not. And so when you have the will to achieve, you'll get up earlier, you'll go to bed later, you'll do what's necessary, not when it's convenient. You'll do what's necessary all the time, and you won't accept. Thank you. Sorry, guys, someone just rang. So here's an example. We've got a power outage. That's probably the electricity company ringing me now. Let's see, am I live? Yeah. So we must have a power out. Yeah, we must be live because I can see myself on the screen. We got a power outage here, and I canceled 3 meetings so that my mobile phone wouldn't lose battery power, so that I could use it as a personal hotspot to do this, because I said I was going to do it at 12, and I wasn't going to miss it. So there's the will. Now I'm going to bring this in for a bit of a landing, because I could stay here for 3 hours talking about the will. I could Yes, sorry guys, we're back. Thank you for staying with me. So personal hots, Kim Guinness, Declan is speaking facts in GL. Cool. All right, so we're back. I hope we're back. Are we back? Yes, we're back. All right, so my live stream went dead for a minute there because of, I think it was a gentleman possibly ringing me from the electricity company. So I'm going to have to bring this in for a landing so that we can get our power back. Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. My favorite passage, one of my favorite passages in personal development, is in this next page. The formless substance, right? So I do videos on TikTok, and there seems to be a lot of people on TikTok who they're like, this is new age thinking, man, and it's against religion. And it's not. Absolutely not. I'm a Christian. I like Jesus Christ. I like God. I like thinking about all of those stories from when we were at school, the nativity, all that stuff. Okay. I also love personal development. I like that thoughts become things. When I was hanging clothes on the line earlier on, my phone kept charging it in the car to have battery power for this call. Normally, when I'm doing these kind of tasks, I'm listening to personal development. But today, I didn't have my phone. So I had, like Neil Donald Walsh said, I had a conversation with God. So I was hanging clothes on the line, and I was like, thank you so much. My marriage is great. I love my wife. Thank you for the health of my mom and dad. Thank you so much for Denise in England. Thank you so much for these clothes that I'm hanging on the clothesline. Thank you for the house that I washed them in. Geez, you really are looking after me so well. Do I thank you enough? Like, this is what I was doing, right? So I don't look at personal development and religion as a different thing. Not, just absolutely not. And anyone wants to use that as an excuse for skepticism, you can have it all day. I'm not going to swap places with you, okay? So I want to read something, to me, is one of the most important passages in personal development. It's from the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. And it's a real go-to thing for me. If I have a shred of lack of belief, I open this page and I read this out loud over and over and over. Initially, I had it underlined here, but I added this bracket because I wanted to add an extra piece. Okay, the formless substance, the energy of the world, God himself, whatever way you want to say it. The formless substance receives a picture of your desires, and it allows this picture to penetrate across great distances, perhaps throughout the entire universe. So the picture that the formless substance has been receiving from me for a good many years now is my goal. It has received from me my wish for, like, I see every one of my team, they know how I see them when I think about my goal. I don't see them saying, yes, we earn money. I see them happy next Christmas, doing what they're doing with the person they're doing it with, or by themselves, or whatever that reality is. I get an image. I see the goal. I read it every day. I see the client call. Denise, remember when you started with me, we were on the Tuesday calls. There was you, me, and Megan, and Donal, and maybe Willie. Remember that, Denise? And we had like 40 people last Tuesday night. And the next time it's going to be, as the weeks go on, it's going to be more and more people. That's because of the will. So the formless substance received an image from me about what I wanted to see in my life. It always receives a picture from me. After this, I'm going to probably get out of my finery and get into some more casual clothes, and I'm going to be doing other bits and pieces. My wife will definitely have some jobs for me to do. She hasn't stopped all morning cleaning and decluttering the children's toy press, and there'll be stuff to go up the attic, there'll be stuff, right? All the while, when I'm asleep tonight, when I'm having my dinner later on, when I'm driving to Carsavine to get some supplies later on, all of the time, the formless substance is receiving a no-nonsense picture from me of what I desire. This idea is penetrating across great distances, okay? This is powerful. Wait till you hear it. As this impression goes out from me, and by the way, from you as well, your 70,000 thoughts a day that go through your body, they go through in absolute perfection. They arrive to you like clear, gorgeous spring water flowing from a well. How are they being sent out? What are they passing through? What is the filtration system that water's going through when it meets you? The idea, I can't, I will, I won't, maybe, later, what, I don't know. I couldn't do that. I'm only Irish. How could I do that? I'm 50. I can't do that. It's coming to you in perfection, and it's going out of you whatever way it's going out of you. You're the only one who knows the way you're sending out these ideas. I know how I'm sending out my ideas, and I know they're brilliant, and I know they can get 9 billion times better. As this impression leaves me, leaves you, every single thing is set towards the realization of what you have put there. I planted a lot of seeds last week. They have one pattern plan to go from a red onion bulb, a red onion shallot to be a red onion, to be a big red onion, to go from a tiny little thing that looks like a spiky little thing to be a big, huge bulb of beetroot, to be a small clove of garlic, to be a big head of garlic, to be a small potato cut in half with a tiny stalk, to be a huge stalk with 5 or 6 potatoes at the bottom of it. Every single seed that I planted last Saturday and Sunday before the bad weather came in, I wanted to get them down. They have got one thing that they can grow into, but I can grow into whatever I want to, and so can you. So I'm telling the universe what I have planted the ideas in my fertile subconscious mind. The universe is connecting with me, and it's like, all right, Dec, I hear you. Now listen, I'm going to do it when I'm ready. You just hold the wheel, okay? Now, we don't hear that voice back, but that's what it's telling us. And then we either do it right, we think in a certain way, we act in a certain way, or else we go, is it going to happen? It's never going to happen. I hope it's going to happen. I better ring Declan. It's not happening. It's happening for other people, but it's not happening for me. So unless we get a highly developed will, we're going to be just like 97% of every 100 people wobbling. Oh, it's not happening. I better have a drink. It's not happening. I better have an argument with my spouse. You've got to develop the will, okay? As this impression spreads, all things are set moving towards its realization. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and all things that have yet been uncreated are now stirred towards bringing into being everything that you want. All force beings are now exerted in your direction. Like the onions, the potatoes, they need sunlight, but they have all the soil all around them now. I've made good conditions for them. I put in good soil, good nutrients, good protection from the wind, good solid, firm soil. I'm going to go and take the weeds away with my kids. I'm going to pour more liquid nutrition with water, or maybe some little bit of organic matter if they need it as time comes. But all you've got to do is weed out the weeds of negative thinking, weed out the weeds of procrastination, nourish yourself with good material. Tara her body was not feeling good. She nourished herself with good nutrition, definitely with good thought material. She probably put on really good music. She's great taste in music and in movies, and probably put on great stuff, probably had a little dance. You know, the Beach Boys. I'm thinking of a good vibration. Eating well, sleeping well, drinking well, speaking well, thinking well sets you up in a good vibration. It puts you to the head of the queue where the universe is concerned. Watch this. As the impression spreads out from you, all things are now moving in the direction of your realization. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, and all the things that have yet been uncreated are now stirred into bringing into being what you want, not what your wife or husband wants, whether they're positive or negative about it, just what you want. So you've got to send out what you want. All things begin to move towards you. The mind of every other people everywhere is somehow influenced towards doing all of the things necessary to fulfill your individual dream and desire. And it constantly works, and it works unconsciously. It's always working. Okay, so I've got so many examples of this. It was, you know, for those of you who are in the UK and Ireland, you'll know a series, EastEnders, okay? And New Year's Eve and EastEnders, somebody somewhere is getting murdered. Other people are in the Vic and they're going, 10, 9, 8, hooray! And there's all this big, meanwhile, there's a horrible thing happening, okay? That's the way these soap operas work. Just like that, I got a letter, and I went with the letter, and I went in to meet my wife in a cafe. I went all the way to Killarney to meet her to say, honey, we got it. And she sat there and tears rolled down her face because she had really bad news as well. Now, all that situation has been resolved. But sometimes things like that can happen. Something you've been working so hard for. That very moment I sat down, I was like, you're not going to believe it. And straight away I was like, what's up? Are you okay? That can happen. I think we all have a moment like that. My thought impression for the goal that I wanted to achieve when I sat down in that cafe never changed for a millisecond when I left that cafe that day. This happens all of the time. When you don't have a highly developed sense of the will, you will get knocked off course far too quickly. And Colm, I see you're here watching this, and other people, Yvonne, there'll be times like Yvonne. So I told Yvonne I would speak with her Monday. It slipped my mind. I remembered it Wednesday. It slipped my mind. And just as I said to another lady this week, there's some reason when that happens. So there was something that she had to develop this week by herself that I didn't remember to pick up the phone. And I felt bad for that minute, but a second later, I was like, feeling bad is not going to help her. It's not going to help me. I'll serve her better the next time. I'll figure it out. But I bet you there's been some little bit of magic. There's been some little thing that she needed to learn this week from that. I have a highly developed will for what I want to achieve. And that was part of it for her. That was part of her journey. I know it was, but I don't know. I don't know why yet. I know that meeting in that cafe that day, that happened to me. Some of my team had a really big win last week, and then all of a sudden they was a bit rattled. And I gave them a 9-minute message today, and I was like, what happened for me in a really horrendous way? Like, we were halfway building this house, along came Storm Callum and blew down the center section. That devastating feeling that happened in that cafe with my wife that day, that happened to my home halfway through the building. They happened in a big scale for me so that I can help the clients to see how small their little small ones are. And I know when they ring me up, in those days, they are big for you guys. I know they're big for you. I know it's a big deal and it feels like crap and it's horrible. I know that. But it happens you're going to learn something from it. You are going to get another string to your bow to make your arrow even go straighter the next time and hit your target. So it's always happening for you all of the time. Everybody's coming to you all of the time. Everything is coming to you all of the time. The second you go, oh, it's not happening to me, they're all like gathering. They're like, imagine one of those battle scenes from Braveheart or something, or those big scenes that we had in the last few years in Game of Thrones, you know. All these, you know, they're all galloping to help you. You've been telling the universe, I want this fine man in my life, or I want this new house, or I want to just double my income, or I want belief that this works. They're like, they're galloping to you. And then it's like, oh, it's not working. Oh, it's not working. They turn around and go, run away, like Monty Python. Run away. She doesn't want this anymore. No, but I want it again. I want it again. Okay, come back. You're wanting it and repelling it. Come to me, don't come to me. It's so imperative, guys. If I taught you nothing else for the first few weeks of our new cycle of TIR, know this. You've got to get a highly developed will. And that's why I push back sometimes when you start with me. I'm going to get a goal emailed this weekend by Paul, by Brian, by Philip, a few more people. Gary's going to send me his as well, a few more people. Deirdre sent me hers last week. I was like, love it. Brilliant. On you go. Perfectly written. I feel you want it. There's a big desire in that. You're off to the races. Because she has children and she has a natural desire to love them, to want to be with them, to care for them. They're never going to go without clothes, without food, without dental work, she loves them that much. I want our clients to love their goals so much Because when you love it, if you don't love it and I let you progress through the program, I'm not doing my job well enough. You've got to love it, because if you love it and the shitty times happen, you'll say, sorry, this goal is more important than this shitty moment right now. And I've been there in really tough ways. It seems like the great victories sometimes are preceded by great losses or perceived losses. And I think I had extremely bad back pain from when I was 13 till I was 20, so that I would find acupuncture and practice it for 10 years and help a lot of people along the way at that stage of my life. But I also found personal development, law of attraction, very, very hard, and did it the wrong way. And you know, I worked into results instead of thinking into results. I did it wrong, and then I did it very, very right. So you'll never know why you're developing these skills right now, and it'll seem like stuff is not happening. And it really, really is. It really, really is. So Alexandru Petrovic, will I finally find hot signals in my area? Well, listen, with, what's the word I'm looking for? With a wit and a confidence and a sense of humor like that, I believe you are the hot signal in your area. All right, let's go back. Noel, this is powerful stuff. Thank you so much. Can you earn many babes? So I don't know what that means. It works amazing. Declan taught me a couple of tricks and really worked the watch. Good for you. Does it get you rich quick? I think you're rich already if you're looking at a device, because I'm streaming onto a device, so you're extremely rich. And yeah, quick. I mean, how long is quick? 5 years, 5 months, 5 days, 5 hours. So it's all very relative. You are rich. If you're looking at it, you need to have some sort of an internet connection, so you're richer than, you know, probably two-thirds of the world already. So you're extremely rich. You've no idea how rich you are, actually, Alexandru. You're incredibly rich. So you just want to get more of it. That's up to you. Yvonne, what are you saying here? You're making me blush. Declan, come on, I'll read it out. I used to have a poor self-image and I wouldn't read this stuff. I'm going to read it out. I love to see that name. Kira Jennings, how's it going? Great to see you here. Patricia Duggan, out with those rubbish thoughts. Be gone with you. Hi, Patricia. Denise, once you get the knack of this, you cannot imagine how you could have lived in the dark ages all that time. Even though you were happy, you also get a key and never ever give it back. That's it. Yeah, good on you. Derek's here. The win for me, lesson 5 has worked so well. Doing the 6 a.m. club also this morning, I saw very clear, vivid pictures flashing in the mind of a grand vision of how I see my C-type goal. Yeah, Derek, you're changing as a lot, as quick as my hairstyle will change when the things open back up. Very good. Tara, so true. When you look back at the way we thought, it seems so foreign now. Yeah, really good. And like, I'm streaming this into a few platforms, as people probably think this sounds like some sort of a cult or something, but like, people are flipping thinking all the time. This is it. You know, I just say, look at your results. Like, look at, like, do I sound like I'm saying anything apart from very basic stuff, but just in a different way? See, we're taught in schools, follow this, learn this, repeat that, get the exam, learn how to think by the time you're 20. And then people are like, oh, there has to be more than this. And there is, and it's all inside of us. We just need to get it out. Somebody said, is it the stream? Oh, cool. Philip, yeah, I'm still working on my goals first week, but as yet my goal hasn't planted in my head. Oh, that's good. That's really good, Philip. I'm delighted. I'm delighted. Then it's taken its time. It must be a good one. It must be a good one. But yeah, I got your message earlier on. We're going to work on that. And Denise is right. Relax it. So Philip, I'm sure you learned from my last few statements there. Imagine there's like a million knights and horses coming to, I'm bringing Philip his goal. And then it's like, it's not happening. And I know you're not thinking that way. But yeah, you know what? I don't know who it was I was talking to this week. Sometimes it comes as well. Oh, it was you, Brian, yesterday. He's got loads of goals. And I was like, let's write it down and let's get after it for about 4 or 5 weeks. And then the ones that are really prominent will come to the surface and the other ones will go aside. I've no doubt about you, Philip. I'm looking forward to reading your goal, and we're going to dissect it a little bit. We'll put a bit of polish on it. We'll shine it up a little bit, and then we'll either get you started or we'll get you to spend a little bit more time on lesson 1. But I appreciate your honesty. Fair play, man. We have a wonderful lady who you all know, but I want her to keep her goal to herself for a few more months. She came up with an absolutely fantastic goal. I told my wife about it in bed this morning, and straight away we could both see the goal. You know who you are. It's massive. Then again, it's not that massive. It's not about starting an airline, which is massive. It's good. It's bigger than she's ever done. but it's all relative, and she deserves it. And if anyone's going to make it happen, she will. And she's been with us a long time, Philip, and she's rejigged her goal now because she's a different woman. Different results, different experiences, different confidence. So we're going to get you started on something, Philip, but it's not going to be wishy-washy and half-assed. It's going to be very good. So I can't wait to read it. Email it to me, declan@declanmcdonoghue.com. Let me read it over the weekend, and I'll give you feedback shortly. Colin, you said, what's the definition of the will? I believe it's holding your focus until your goal is achieved. That's my belief of the will. Holding the goal in your mind, keeping it just between yourself and the big man upstairs. I don't share my goal all that. I'm very nervous about sharing my big goal with Laura and my coach, but there are two people that I feel in extreme harmony with, and for 2 years they've both supported me longer than anybody else in my goal-setting life. I got a great team now who really are in harmony as well, but I'm very nervous about sharing my goal because it's always been just me and God, and that's it. But yeah, share your goal with me, Philip. We'll edit it and we'll work on it, and then it's going to be all yours again. And that's my example column of definition of the will. Holding something in your mind, regardless of any proof whatsoever that you or anybody that's come before you has ever achieved anything even remotely close to it. And that it is happening, that it is a done deal, that it almost has happened already in some way. Derek is giving his definition: once living life or once in loving life, because the image of what we want. Yeah, the image of what you want, deep in the forefront of your mind, in the back of your mind, in all of your mind. You know, it's just absolutely just bigger and bigger and better. So Yvonne, you're the best at what you do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think you're a bit biased. I'm delighted I found you, and just at the perfect time. You're so kind and caring for all your clients. You truly are a blessing to us all. Look, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very, very much. I graciously receive, even though I mightn't be looking so gracious, but yes, I'm very uncomfortable at receiving. But thank you. Thank you so much. Denise and Derek corroborate with him. Listen, there's a tenner in the post. Thanks for coming on. And you played a blinder, Yvonne. Thanks. See, that's me, making a joke out of it. That's me making a joke. No, I receive your kind words, and I know I'm doing a good job in this academy. So thank you so much, Derek. It's not a cult; we are a culture club. And you know what? His first name is Declan. There you go. I'm a man without conviction, by George. Yes, we are a culture club, Derek. We certainly are. Colin got his workbook and his gold cards this morning. Fantastic. Yeah, everybody else who hasn't got theirs, they're in the post. I think it's because you are in Australia or in Scotland or in America. So yours are not with you, but everyone else is getting theirs today. Yeah, cool job. All right, I'm going to finish because I'm gone over the hour and I'm nearly at my dead battery. If you're watching this along with us, I would say Monday the 22nd, just like a lot of these people, Yvonne and Colin and other people who are now working with us, they watched a 5-day masterclass. It's like today, but 5 days in a row with structure and a workbook. Our next one begins Monday week, the 22nd of March. My God, it's the 22nd of March already. Need to get a haircut. So yeah, everybody, if you are watching this live on YouTube, go to the Thoughts Become Things community. If you're in the Thoughts Become Things community, comment below, who's my success advisor, because we have to get you a workbook so you can do the program with us. Connect with one of my team and they'll take care of you over the next week to help you get ready for the masterclass. If you're not in the Thoughts Become Things community, search for us on Facebook, Thoughts Become Things community, and you will find our group. Join the group, and the minute you join the group, you have to answer some questions. The team will see it, they'll connect with you and help you through the course, and that's it. At the end of that, if you want to join our academy, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm grateful for the guys for saying what they said today. Yeah, Tara said thanks for a great lesson. You know what? It really, really, really is a great lesson. And you're using the will anyway. You're using it kind of 20%, 50%. So you've got to develop the will to use it 100% in the direction of what you want without exception. You've got to. I've watched this now, and somebody said, I watched this and now I have accumulated 5 million through massive pyramid schemes. Right. Oh, fair play to you. I'm happy for you. I hope you have. I hope you're being real there, and I hope you're going to do good things with that money. But I don't know if that's being really generous. But anyway, best of luck to you if you have. Hopefully you served everybody and will continue to serve every single person whose life you touched along the way. But I think it could be silly billy stuff coming in from a random person on YouTube. Anyway, my friends, bye-bye, God bless. Everybody in the academy, I'll see you on Monday, as usual, 1 o'clock. Take care and all the best. Bye.